Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, well, let's go ahead and start getting to the nitty gritty here. So remember last week we talked about we talked about the video, we talked about the mastering, just voice inflection and things of that nature. All of those things is fine when learning how to do marketing. We talk about a lot of scripting, which you guys need that as well. And all of those things is fine. But what happens once you get the customer? What's the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal is to do what?
Close them.
Close them. Right? That's the ultimate goal, is that you want to close the deal. Okay, so one of the struggles that a lot of times people have is starting the process and getting them from the beginning to closing a deal. So what do you mean by closing? That means coming up with an agreement that both parties can agree to. Okay, that's where you want to get to. That's why. Why do we want to close a deal? Of course, as salespeople, because that's where what? Our commission lies, right? So we want to close the deal. So we want to come up with an agreement that both parties are agreeing to. So what do you mean by closing the sale? Closing the sale refers to the process of getting the prospect to agree to a deal and then sign the contract. That's where you want to end up at. So even in the beginning of the sales process, you have to have the end of the process in mind, even at the beginning of the process. Does that make sense? So even at the beginning of the process, you want to have the end results already in your mind at the beginning of the process, which is to do what? Get the customer to sign the contract, agree to the deal. Okay. So what do you mean by closing the sale? It means it's the final step in the sales process, where all the efforts and all the communication and all the talk that we've done, it came to a conclusion. This is what you're in it for. I don't think anybody is in it for anything else but to close their deals, right? Okay, you want to make sure that you close your deal. You want to come up with an agreement. You want them to sign the contract. I was thinking about the old time way where they had the feudal type agreements back in the ancient days, where they would bow down to the Lord and just promise what they were going to do, and that was the contract. Well, now times are different, right? You can't do that anymore. So you have to go through a process where you want to get them to sign a legal contract so you can do what? Get paid. So there's key elements, right? There's key elements to that.
You do not understand. Please interrupt me so I can.
There's key elements to that. Both parties, I want to make you co-host.
Please do. I love muting people.
All right, hold on one second.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
All right, you got it?
Yes, sir. I'm muting now.
All right, so the key elements, there's a couple of key elements that you want to understand about closing. Both parties agree to the terms and the conditions, number one, right? It's the commitment process. So you want to get both people to agree to the terms and commitment, but you want to get the commitment from them. You want the prospect to commit to purchasing the product. You want them to commit to doing the scenario form and commit to these things. Thank you. You want them to commit to that, right? So a lot of times when asking for a customer to commit to things, you don't necessarily have to ask, can you commit? You can put a time stamp on it. Hey, Mr. Customer, what time today will you be able to have that contract back? Do you think you might have that contract back to me? You think it'll be before 3? Right? You just created a commitment form. So They don't have any space to go outside of 3. You see? So a lot of times you don't have to say these things to a client, but remember, in the beginning of the sales process, you want to be looking toward the end. So this is what your other sales trainers come in at. This is where you start thinking about, navigating the process and making sure you're navigating the process. But you want to get that commitment out of them. You want that action. You want the prospects to sign the contract. You know what I mean? You want them to make the payments. You want them to have some type of action. Okay, this is what you're shooting for, right? Okay, so why is the closing crucial? Why is it so important to close? This is what we are driven by. Everybody on this call is driven by this: closing, closing, closing. Everybody wants to get to the closing line, right? You want to close, close, close. And a lot of you all that's on this call right now, that's on the team here with Sequoia, you're on our team. You know that there's a process in closing. Some of you all that's on this call right now, that's not on our team yet, get on our team so you can start, getting us involved with the process. So get involved with us. But most of you all that's on the team, you know that you go through a process. So why are you going through the process? Why? Because what? You want to make sure it gets closed. It's crucial. Sales closing is the engine that drives your revenue growth. This is what's driving you. This is what's driving you. When you're looking at your numbers, guess what? You're figuring out how many deals you need to close, right? So without closing deals, all your efforts in lead generation and nurturing goes to what? It goes to waste. So all of this humping that you're doing and all the marketing that you're doing, you see a lot of people just drop out because their stuff just go to waste because they're not closing. So this is why these sales trainers are important, so you can go out and start implementing and start closing. Once again, salute to all of you all that's out there actually implementing these things and pushing. I'm seeing a lot of traffic coming through right now. Okay, so you guys are doing, putting in more deals, which is good. You're starting to implement. So taking these sales training and actually implementing what you're learning, because you're becoming more and more equipped, is what's going to turn you into dollars. What's going to turn into dollars. So sales close is the engine that drives revenue growth. Without closing deals, all your efforts in lead generation and nurturing goes to waste. You want to make sure you set a quota. You want to make sure you're meeting quotas, right? You're hitting your sales target, okay? It's impossible without, these closers, successful closers. You got to have a sales target. How much are you trying to make a month? How much are you trying to make a year? What's your number? Even with your team sales quotas, you're pressed to hit those quotas. But but this is the reason why closings is crucial. Even if you don't have a team quota, you have a personal quota, you have to hit that number. You need to set that number. What is it that you need every month? What do you need every year? What do you need to invest with? Right? So, now we're gonna put out soon a breakdown, and it's gonna be very soon, a breakdown exactly what you need to do and sell product wise to hit a certain amount, to hit 5,000, to hit 6,000, to hit 10,000. So a really laid out breakdown. We got to put that out for them as soon as possible. A nice breakdown. Okay. So, but the quotas is very important because it gives you something to shoot for. It gives you something to stretch for. It gives you, your marker. If you don't have anything in front of you, you're not shooting for anything. You just got something in your hand. Think about it, right? You have to have a target. You have to have a target. So when you're thinking and you're talking to these customers, you want to get to the closing. It's crucial because you got a target in mind, right? What about business expansion, expanding your business, closing your deals leads to new opportunities for expansion and long-term client relationships, right? So when we talk about closing, so how do you get to closing more deals? Okay, so closing more deals, and I'm a witness to this because I've been in the business a long time, and one of the things that I've learned is that building trust and building rapport and building that relationship with your prospects is what's key. Matter of fact, I had a call today. I don't know if he's on this call today, but one of our brokers, and he asked a question. He says, how do we make sure, we're working on some really big deals, but how do we make sure that we keep that client our client? Well, right here, keeping a strong rapport. And my answer to him was building a strong rapport and that trust with your prospect. You got to build a rapport with them. This is all about relationship building. So, once you guys turn in the deal and once you submit a deal, don't let that be it. Whoever the decision maker is, call them. Sometimes, hey, I'm just checking. Yeah, how is the product working for you? Good. How was your service? Were you satisfied? Do you have any more questions? Is there anything else that you need? Things of that nature. And those are the rapport building tactics that you have to implement in order to be successful in sales, okay, and closing these deals. So you want to show genuine interest in their needs and their challenges. This is very important, right? This is very important because during a call, you want to listen to everything that this prospect is telling you. We talked about this before, about writing down and listening. I told you all, some of you all to know the story already. When I was a younger lad, a little pup, I was in a sales call. I was working for SBC Global, and I was doing fiber optic systems and Cisco routers, that type of stuff. And I was with a gentleman by the name of Alex, and we went out on a sales call. I was brand new, and I would listen to him do his sales pitch, but I would always just see him just shake his head, right? And when the customer was talking, he wouldn't say anything. He would just shake his head. And he would write down and shake his head. Just keep writing and shaking his head. And so one day, that same day, I was looking at Alec and I'm thinking, hey, are you getting stuck? Are you freezing up right now? Should I jump in? And I don't really know much, not like you should. And he started talking, and I said, okay, he was able to handle it from there. But once we got in the car, I asked the question. I said, Alec, let me ask you a question. Why did you take so long to respond when the prospect was asking you for specific answers? He says, Mo, because I was processing everything that he stated in our conversation, and I was internalizing it so I can make sure that I gave him the best answer possible. So what he did was what is shown here. He was genuinely listening, actively listening and taking notes. And then he was pinpointing the pain points. So when you're dealing with people that need money, you want to pinpoint the pain points, especially when they're looking for secondary lenders, right? We're not primary lenders. We're not A-paper lenders, right? We're secondary lenders. We've got the hard money programs. We got the commercial loan programs. We have over 500 lending programs. We have a lot more flexible terms, things of that nature. But we're not your neighborhood banks. We're not your national banks. We're not any of that, right? So our terms are going to be a lot flexible. Okay, so you want to make sure that that you're actively listening to your clients. So now, Daniel Richards says your customer doesn't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You have to listen. You have to listen to what their needs are. Okay, so the people are coming to talk to you because they need money. And most of the times they're coming to talk to you because their traditional banks are telling them no. And what's our motto, right? When the banks tell you no, we're going to say yes, right? We say yes. Because we're going to have some type of solution, most likely, that that's a solution for them. Okay? So, but you have to listen and you have to really see exactly where they're hurting. Okay, now this is not for every situation, because if someone's looking for fix and flip money, you know, they don't care about that, right? They're trying to find fix and flip money. If someone's looking for a small line of credit, they don't care about that. This is applicable to, you know, bigger companies that's bleeding, or smaller companies that's growing, or medium companies that's trying to grow, but they're bleeding left and right, or even some of our smaller businesses. Okay, people are bleeding, so you want to know where their pain points are. And that comes by way of actively listening to their story and taking notes. So remember that Alex theory. Shake your head, listen, talk more than listen more than you speak, right? Understand the prospect's needs, right? Conduct a thorough research about your prospect. Okay, some of these bigger deals that we're working on, some of you all, we're working on $40 million deals, $30 million deals, $100 million deals, all these big deals that you all bringing to the table, even some of your, your $300, $400, $500,000 deals, whatever they are. Do some homework on these companies. So when you're talking to your customer, you can impress, number one, your client by letting them know that you took out the time to make them important to you. You took out time to research them, so it shows the customer that they were important enough. They were important enough to you for you to take out your time and to research them. Right. So that's a good thing towards your closing process, right? Also, you want to make sure you understand the industry so you can be prepped about the industry. You want to make sure you know what you're talking about, what you're speaking of. They're looking for money, but guess what? Remember, you're building a report. I would love to be able to say, yes, sir, Bob, I appreciate that. I know you guys are, doing an expansion right now, and understand that, you just hired other 20 other, employees. And I saw the expansion plan. So, guys, we're going to put that to work and get you the funding that you're looking for. Well, I read that, on your blog or something. So I've done some homework, basically. And this is where I'm getting this information from. So, ask questions. Ask questions to uncover that pain. What challenges are you currently facing? Okay, what's your current solution? What do you think the solution is? These are questions that you're going to ask the client. What do you think the solution is to stop the bleeding? Okay, what do you think the solution is? All right. What do you think? What's your goals for the next quarter? Okay. What's the challenges? Remember about open-ended questions. Remember the training we did about open-ended questions, right? Open-ended, closed-ended questions, right? This is what? This would be what? Called what? Open-ended, right? This is open-ended question. What challenges are you currently facing? That's a good one, right? What's your current solutions? What are your goals for the next quarter? Those are some really good open-ended questions. Am I right? Really good open-ended questions that'll lead to a great conversation, which is what you want. You want to get as much information from the client as possible. Jeffrey Gittimore says to sell more, focus on the customer. Think about what they want and what they need. If you want to get more sales, all you have to be is solution driven, and a solution maker for the customer. I'm sorry, a solution maker for the customer. Okay, well, if you find all these people, all these customers that's bleeding and got pain and, you know, and all you're doing is creating solutions with financial vehicles, that's what you get paid to do. So all this comes by way of learning your product. So you got to learn your product and know which product you have, but understand your customer. Okay, present clear value propositions. Articulate how your solution is going to address their specific needs. So instead of saying things like our commercial lending product offers flexible terms, say something like our commercial lending product can help you secure the necessary funds to expand your business without disrupting your cash flow, right? So why I say it that way? Because it, first of all, it says our commercial lending product can help you secure the necessary funds. That's the solution, right? And then the benefit is to do that without disrupting your cash flow. So you elaborate on benefits. Same thing we talked about last week, right? Highlight those tangible benefits to your solution. By using the commercial lending services, you'll have access to capital within 48 hours. Boom, right? Just like that. Benefit. Allowing you to take advantage of immediate growth opportunity. Boom, benefits, right? And that's what you have to keep hitting your customer with, benefit, because that's what's going to make you different from, you know, the next Joe Blow. Remember that there's a lot of lending companies out there. There's a lot of brokers that, you know, these customers can deal with. Why are they dealing with you? What makes you different? And that's what you have to ask. What's going to set you apart? You guys are getting trained. You come to training. You're doing marketing. I'm seeing you all step out and doing your videos now. Dedicar, salute out to you. I saw you do more videos. Salute to you. You know, keep getting that energy. Guys, you got to keep staying focused on the prize, which is what? Closing deals and expanding what it is that you're trying to accomplish in your own personal life. But you do that by building relationships with clients, building relationships with prospects, highlighting the things that they need, being a solution-driven person. You have to be solution-minded. They're looking for solutions. They have issues. And if you can come in and fix the problem, you're going to have all the business in the world. Handle objections effectively.
What's up, bro? You been all right? Yeah. Oh.
Handle objections effectively. Be prepared to address common objections. Remember, we talked about this. We had a training, overcome objections, right? This is why it's important for some of you all that have not been in our trainings. Make sure that you're on track because we cover these things. And those of you that's on this training can vouch for that. We cover overcoming, handling objections, learning how to close, right? Creating marketing videos, things of that nature. All that's great, but none of that works if you don't have this right here. You have to learn how to overcome it. Be prepared to address these common objections and concerns. So if a prospect says your commercial lending product has high interest rates, what do you say? Number one, you say, I understand. You always agree with the customer. You never say, no, my rates are not. No, it's not. You never disagree with the customer. The first thing you're always going to do is agree and get on the same page with them, because that lets the customer know, hey, I was right. Yeah, you are right, Mr. Customer. I understand. You're concerned about your rates. However, our product is designed to save you money in the long run by offering you flexible repayment options and reducing the financial strain on your business. So once again, you agree, and then you hit them and show benefits. So you have to show benefits always. Never disagree with the customer, and and then not show them benefits on top of it. Okay, and respond with confidence and have empathy at the same time. Understand that these customers are are in the process of doing a lot of, dealing with a lot of different things and have a lot of concerns. If a customer hesitates about the approval process, acknowledge their concern and explain. I understand the approval process. I understand the approval process can be daunting. It could be, be a headache, right? But we provide dedicated support to guide you through every step, ensuring smooth and efficient experience. So you hit them always with benefit. So benefit is the key. So always when you're looking at overcoming objections, you agree with them and then turn around and show them benefit. Even in your sales process, benefit, right? So if you always show the customer benefit and solution, you're gonna always have the customer right there. Because most people and most sales guys aren't doing it. They're not showing the benefits. They want to do what? They want to get in there and hurry up, close the deal, and get my commission check, right? They're not listening to the needs of the client, so that's not setting them apart. What I want you all to do is be set apart so you can be successful in your sales career. You have to create a sense of urgency with clients. Highlight the urgency of resolving their issue. That's a big one. You have to create that sense of urgency. This is how you're making the clients move, right? There's a sense of urgency. Our special interest rate offer ends this month, right? Sense of urgency. So if you apply for the loan now, you'll save on financing costs compared to next month. That's a sense of urgency. Or you can state, because you've listened to their pain, you can state, if we move forward right now with the loan product, whatever that loan product is that we're offering that client, it'll stop the bleeding and save you hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're losing right now. Sense of urgency. You see? But that comes by way of listening, right? What Alec did, he listened. And now you know that let me share a solution to their pain. Yeah, I can say in that same conversation that I'm going to have a lower interest rate for you. Well, that's not more appealing than saying that let me stop that bleeding and stop you from losing $100,000. You guys with me? So emphasize the benefit of acting quickly, right? Bob Hui says that if you're not taking care of your customer, guess what? Your competitor will. If you're not nurturing to your customer and your client and taking care of their needs, making sure that you call them back, making sure that you send them what you're supposed to send them, making sure that you live up to your commitment of the agreement, he says that if you're not taking care of your customers, that your competitor will. How about that? So you can't get mad if you lose your deals to a competitor. Well, guess what? That means that you wasn't servicing the problem, right? Yeah, sometimes they can say, well, they'll use the whole rate thing. Well, you can always beat out rate conversation with benefit. And I can guarantee you that a lot of these salespeople aren't using benefit. They're just doing the rate game. And they're falling into that, that web of, who has the lower rate. You don't want to play the rate game, sell benefit. Okay, so ask for the sale, be direct. Hey, I'm a big proponent about that. Based on what we discussed, it sounds like our solution is a great fit for your needs. Can we proceed with setting up your account? In other words, can we move forward? Me personally, I just asked the customer, hey, can we move forward? I'm ready to close this deal. Can we close it? That's how I do it. Because I've built up a rapport enough with the customer that I can say it in such a relaxed manner. Okay, so ask for the sale. Matter of fact, when you're selling, you want to use an approach called the assumption approach. Okay, it's called the assumption approach or the assume the sale. You want to assume the sale even in the beginning. So what that simply means is that you assume that you're going to close the deal. You assume that this lender, that your customer is going to sign the contract. So when you assume this, you act as if. So when you assume that this is going to happen, you're not asking, hey, are you going to do the deal with me? No. So I'm going to send a contract to you at in about 10 minutes. If you can get that back to me about 4 o'clock today, I'll get that on underwriter's desk, and then we can go ahead and get to closing on this. I'll go ahead and move to the next process and getting your ID. I'll need you to get this, and this. Okay. What time can you have that for me? See, I'm not asking the client for anything. I'm assuming. All throughout the process, I'm assuming the deal. Okay? So that's the mindset that you have to have. So you have to learn from the big boys, right? Learn from the big boy. Look at Walt Disney. You said the way to get started is to quit talking and just begin. He said, stop talking about it, right? Just begin, start. Get around the right people. I can't stress that enough. Get around the right people. Okay? You want to make sure that you have the right people in your circle that's going to give you the right frequency and the right energy. Okay? So positive energy. You want to be with people that's going to keep feeding into your into your positive energy frequency, into your frequency. Steve Jobs said that your time is limited. So don't waste it living someone else's life. Remember, we talked about that in one of our calls, the essential of time. Your time is limited. So don't waste it living someone else's life. Stop worrying about what someone else want you to do. Jump out on that business, start it, and stick with it. This is what the call is going to be tomorrow, where we have Dr. James Dentley that's going to share with us the blueprint of successful entrepreneurship and the power of staying consistent. Listen, if you guys are going to be on any call, make sure you're going to be on that call, especially all you business owners. Estee Lauder. She said, I never dreamed about success. She says, guess what? I worked for it. Right? So you want to work hard for it. So now mastering the art of closing is simply mastering the art of closing simply the essential for any successful sales career. Anybody that want to be successful in sales, you have to master the art of closing. And that closing process is right from the beginning, from what people see about you, all the way throughout the process. Okay, so what people see about you, especially if you're utilizing social media and things of that nature, and you're on your page, and 1 minute we see you, doing a bunch of, whatever stuff, and then the next post you say, hey, I sell money. It doesn't, people have already made up their mind and made a decision about you based on other things that you've shown them. Okay, so you want to be mindful that the closing process starts in the beginning for what people perceive about you without you even opening up your mouth. Okay, so what is it people perceive about you without you even opening up your mouth? Because by the time you open up your mouth and tell them what you have, it's a lot easier than they've already got some type of negative perception about you based on what you've shown them, because you utilize your freedom of speech, right? Everything don't need to be said, right? Everything don't need to be done on public format. Okay, so what I mean by that is I wouldn't engage in political conversations. I wouldn't engage in religious conversations, things like that. I wouldn't engage with, conversation about anything that could be misconstrued. All right, you stay away from those type of things. So everything don't need to be said because you feel Donald Trump is this or you feel Biden is this. Those are things that I wouldn't put on my public page if you're deciding that you're going to market to your clients and use your page for business. But of course, you have freedom of speech. You can say whatever it is that you choose to say. But for marketing purposes, it'll hurt your chances. It'll hurt your chances if you get into some conversations and, and a lot of people might sway the other way and not do business with you because of that reason. So by building strong relationships and understanding your prospect needs, presenting clear value, handling objection, creating urgency, and confidently taking or asking for the sale, you're going to, boom, create more sales. You're going to significantly increase your closing rate. Okay, you're going to significantly increase your closing rate by doing these things. Okay, come on, y'all, talk to me now. This is our sales. This is our sales training. This is our sales training. This is where, remember, this is where we come to learn. This is where we come to practice. And then so when we go out to the public and we represent our team and represent our company, that we're not representing the company wrong. And you're not representing yourself wrong. Okay. So we want to always make sure that we stay professional. And we want to make sure that we give our clients and our prospects exactly what they are looking for. And that's good professional business. They want to deal with professional people. So you're going to be in the financial arena. I mean, think about it. This is the money game, right? You don't want to look any type of way. You don't want to carry yourself any type of way because people buy from people that they know and they like. And when you do it for money, they make a lot of different, extra determination whether they want to deal with you or not. Okay, so come on, take your phone, check your computers off on mute, and let's discuss this. So what y'all get out of this conversation? What's your focal point?
Keep your mouth shut and listen to the customer. So you can meet their needs, understand how to approach them.
Correct. That's correct.
Listen carefully, question skillfully.
That's correct. That's correct. So my guy Pip, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, bro?
So, yes, that's correct. Listen carefully. Answer the questions carefully. Listen to the customer prospect so you can reiterate to the customer what the customer has already said. See, a customer is always going to tell you how to sell them. They're always going to tell you that. But the only way a customer tells you how to sell them is you have to get the customer to talk. And so the way you get a customer to talking is by asking open-ended questions.
Right.
And you're learning about their business. So,
Right. Yes.
customer will talk all day long about their
Research.
and you do the research. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So
The more you know, the better it is.
that's right. All the videos and things that we're doing and all the training that we're doing on the scripting, that stuff is great. And keep in mind, we practice on script, we practice on how to handle certain products and things of that nature. But you have to have the mindset on each call that if this is a good customer, I'm going to close this customer. I don't believe in a customer getting on the phone with me and there's a deal to be made and I don't close it. I don't believe it. I'm not saying it has never happened. I just don't believe it.
Right.
So because I don't believe it, I don't focus my mind around it. I'm always in the mindset of I'm closing this deal, I'm closing this deal, I'm closing this deal. Right? And yeah, I lose deals all the time. Okay. But my mindset still stays in I'm closing these deals. I don't pay attention to the deals I lost. So you don't pay attention to them. Okay. So in sales, you just want to keep on putting your pipeline and keep stuff in your pipeline and making sure that you got deals on top of deals on top of deals going in because of the process of the sale. It still has to go through a process. So once you get the client and you've done everything you're supposed to do, it still has to go through a process. Okay, that's a process of talking to the underwriters, process of getting done. That's the process of the underwriter approving this loan and approving these deals based on the docs, right? So it's a process. So when you're selling, you want to make sure this customer is up for the process and they understand the process. And the only way the customer is going to understand the process is if you understand the process. Okay, which is why I salute all of you all for continuing to come to training. So you can understand the process. Okay.
Tell you also what I got out of it, Mo,
Mhm.
was peeling the onion, which is basically what you were training us on as well.
Right.
You know, getting down when you're well, let me put it this way. When you're speaking with that client and or customer at that time, if you don't peel the onion, get to the real needs of what they want, it won't help you anyway, because like you said, we're closing deals.
That's right.
And so ultimately I got a lot of that out of that, what you're talking about. You've got to peel that onion. You've got to know everything. And just take real good notes and make sure you go back and reflect on those notes.
That's right.
Because they'll know. And if you're not confident, something else you said about confidence. If you're not confident, they'll know.
That's right.
That's like holding a baby and the baby starts crying because you're not holding them confidently. So yes, that's one of the things I got out of it.
Yep, that's good. Thank you, Veronica. You're absolutely right. You know, you have to peel that onion back. You know, just think about, you know, we talked about it some weeks ago, the training. We talked about I forget what particular training it was, but I talked about how a boxer comes out with his guards up.
Right.
And I used the illustration of a boxer and a salesperson. The salesperson gets in the ring, and I remember Damon, he's a boxing trainer, so he helped me with this illustration. And I remember, you know, I said a boxer gets in the ring and he's got his guards up in anticipation of the opponent throwing a punch, right? And so the job of a good salesperson is to get the opponent's guards to come down. Because all this is his defense mechanism. This is his defense move, right? And so you want the guards to come down so you can do what? You can strike. And you can go in. And so how do you get the prospect's guards down? By answering questions, making them feel comfortable, making sure that they understand the process. And that's how you get their guards to go down. And so what do I mean by striking? Asking for the deal, closing the sale. Okay? So in our lane, that's how we strike. We strike by asking for the deal and closing the sale. So you do that once you make the customer feel comfortable and they're informed. Okay, you have to inform them, and you let them know, hey, I'm going to be right by your side throughout the process. See, that's another thing. Customers don't want to be left alone. They want to make sure they can pick up the phone and call you. They want to make sure they can email you and you communicate with them. What you got, G?
Sorry, I'm on mute. No, I'm just listening to what you're saying. Yeah, no, I agree with everything. You know, I think this is good information outside of just, you know, doing the scripts and stuff. You got to understand all the theories as well. Kind of a two-prong approach, right?
Yeah.
You know, I I think everything you said was great. I agree.
Good. All right. Joey, you got anything to add to that?
As much as I hate to do it, I have to agree with G. You did a really good job.
Well, technically, you agree with him, but you really agree with me too. So, you know.
Yeah, I think you did a real good job covering. I mean, closing is very important, and they have to know how to close. A lot of people talk themselves right out the deals.
Talking right out the deal, man. Talking right out the deal. And I've done it before. You know, I've done it before. I talked myself right out of the deal. I'm like, whoa, you know, I didn't really feel like closing the deal. And honestly, and I'm going to tell you, here's another thing, guys. This is another thing. So you can learn from my mistake. Once you start closing deals, as a salesperson, sometimes you become not as hungry. Does that make sense?
Yes and no.
So you're right. I know what I'm right. I agree with you because I still stay hungry, but you don't. I'm probably using the wrong word, Damien.
Mhm.
But you don't have that. Sometimes you don't have that same.
Pressure.
Same pressure. Thank you. You don't have
Yeah,
the
you're
same.
getting hungry.
Huh?
You're not as hungry anymore. It's like a boxer. And when he's young, he's hungry for that title. After he gets the title, defends it a few times, he gets comfortable. He's not as hungry no more. You know,
Right.
so I understand.
Exactly. Thank you. So
No, it's a common thing. I mean, Mo and I, this is like a.
oh yeah,
this is
right.
some-
Exactly. We do it
This is
all
something
the time.
we go back and forth on this a lot because what'll happen is, and I'm guilty of this, although I think it's gotten better in recent, I'll say years, because it's literally taken years to curb this, which is, you know, I'm up against the wall and it's hustle,
That's where you
grind.
perform your best, though.
That's where I perform my best. So
See,
then we
when you're-
pull out just something
Exactly.
incredible, and then it's like, oh, and it's just human
Exactly.
not to have that same adrenaline. You know, if I could take a pill that would make me think that I'm being chased by a dog every day while I'm just sitting here, we'd be a lot richer.
I know, right?
So
So
you might be a lot thinner too.
Low blow.
Come to Florida, there's all kinds of pills.
Yeah, no, I've had my fair share of those too. Fortunately, they have a lot of those in California as well.
Well,
You'd be surprised.
you could come to Florida, Joe, and you could hire Damien, and he could train you. That's why he's the trainer.
that's all right.
Damon, the trainer.
Just don't stay
And
away.
we can all watch.
Stay away from.
That's it.
All right, guys. So we got out the training, closing deal. This is the most important thing. The process, you know, that's the end goal is to close the deal. Listening to your customer, listening to your prospect, understanding your prospect, and being able to reiterate those things back to your prospect that he or she stated is very important. Very important. So write down, if any of y'all have ever been on a sales call with me, you know that I'm always writing down. I keep my book right here and I write down when I'm listening, when a customer is talking. Because I want to go back and say, okay, Mr. Customer, what I heard you say was this, and this. Am I correct? And say yes. Okay. So now that I have the full picture, now I can go back and address their needs with solution and benefit. Don't talk about rate. Guess what? If a customer asks you a question, I'm gonna leave you at this, and they say, well, what if your rate is 10% and I can get it at 9? Or I can get it at 8. Well, guess what? That's a 2% difference. That's fine. Okay. But can you get this loan in the next 14 days? Where you can stop the bleeding because this is an urgent matter, right? Can you get it without showing all of the documentation that the bank is requesting? Right? Can you get it with a lower score than what the bank is requesting? So you start going to benefit. Can you get it as fast as we can get it for you? Can we get you a longer term? Can you get a longer term? So you go over the benefit. All right, because the solution is whatever the case is, or whatever the issue is with that company that you're trying to solve. And you're trying to do it quickly. The benefit is I'm doing this quickly for you. So if I'm doing this for you quickly, is that worth 2% to pay to me to get it done quickly? To stop these $1,000 that you're drowning in, right? Who cares about that 2%? I got benefit. Okay, so that's what you got to think about. Anybody got questions for me?
Yeah. You said in the beginning, on one of the first 3 slides, you were talking about closing and getting a person's confirmation. Are you ready to close the deal? Blah, blah, blah. And the guy says yes. And you said something about you ready to sign off on it, and then we could speak to the advisors. When we're closing a deal with someone after we get all their pre-qualification, is there something they sign? And then we pass them to the advisors,
No.
or what's that
No.
little process?
No.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
No, that's okay. No. We once we talk to them, once you talk to your client,
Hmm.
remember you're gonna send your client your link. You're gonna go in your back office, send them a link to whatever
Right.
product it is that they're searching out. Okay.
Right.
Send them the link for fix and flip. Once they fill that out, of course, it goes to our back office, it goes to our team. I'll see it. I'll see all the, the emails that come through it. Processors will see it. And at that point, the processor will then respond via email to yourself, the client. Once again, I see it. Alan sees it. Our team sees it. So, this process starts at that point. We start asking for documents so we can get them quotes.
Right. So
And then
sending. I'm sorry. Go on.
and then the signing comes. The signing comes once we get the commit from you. We're gonna sign the contract, sign the deal.
And that's electronic signature, of course, right?
That's electronic signature, correct.
So you're saying send them the link, which I understand, but am I being too aggressive when I speak to them over the phone and pre-qualify to just get it, fill it out for them and then
No, that's perfect. Do that.
send it?
No,
Yeah, because I
fill it out
don't
for
want
them.
to be waiting on it.
Yeah, no, fill it out
Gotcha.
for them. Fill it out for them. I mean, if you're able to fill it out for them, you are, and this is a good learning lesson for everybody that's on our team. With your client, with that scenario form, when you're in your system, fill out the scenario form for the client. It's quick. Okay,
Right.
that way we can get the ball started faster. Some of the clients will fill it out, relatively quickly. Okay,
Mhm.
some of them may drag their feet, which is what Damon is talking about.
Right. I don't want to wait.
Yeah, you don't want to wait. So you don't know. By all means, fill it out for him, bro.
Gotcha.
Benny Miller. What's up, brother? All right.
Hey, I'm here. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Good. Yeah, I see we came up with we closing on that church deal, Benny.
Chuck, you know more than me.
Yep.
You talking about Riverfront?
Yep. No, not
I want to.
Which one?
the other one, Unity.
Stone Unity.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll find out tomorrow. I'll talk to Scott tomorrow.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Any more questions for me?
No, not yet.
All right, y'all know we're going to after hours, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we stick around for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, so everybody can ask any questions they have, or we can talk about Joey or somebody. All right.
So I got one more question.
Right.
there's a slide from quite a few meetings ago. It's called the process. What happens after? What's the process it goes through? And that's the process that you had just described to me. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think that was that one of my trainers or one of G's
It
trainers?
was no, it was one of your trainers.
Okay, all right, I'll get it for you.
No, I actually got it.
Oh, you got it?
But yeah, I just was curious if that was the that's what you were referring to. I'm gonna
Yes,
try to
yes.
pull it up now and put it in a chat.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna cancel this. Let me go ahead and end this recording. Once again, thank you everybody for showing up on the call. You know, this is our Thursday night call. This is our private call. I mean, you know, our team call. Everybody's on here is welcome to be here. I don't care. You guys can be here. I hope you enjoy it. For all the new people that's here, I hope you enjoyed the training. This is where we're really laid back. We learn a lot of different sales techniques. We practice. We do role play. We practice on what we're gonna do in the public right here on our Thursday night training. On Friday nights is our Friday night huddle. This is where we learn. We bring in our guest speaker. Tomorrow we're gonna have Dr. James Dentley, who is my mentor, to be on the call. He's gonna speak on the essentials of, the blueprint of successful entrepreneurs and the power of staying consistent. He's definitely somebody you definitely want to hear from. Okay, very successful gentleman. And very knowledgeable, friends with Les Brown. You know, he does a lot of motivational speaking as well. Say that again. So, okay, so guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow on the call. All right, once again, see you guys at the top. I'm going to go ahead and end this call right here. So look.